we also played little something last night. A little beta for Back 4 Blood.
Did you know that there's a 4 in the logo of that game? Fucking crazy.
No, you have to tilt your head.
I mean, I didn't until yesterday.
This
and
is
I've
amazing.
been seeing that logo for like months now, and only yesterday I was like, oh wait,
My goodness,
the negative space is a 4. Holy shit, that's so clever. I mean, I feel like it's the same thing as like people who looked at the logo for Evolve and were like, oh wait, it's 1 block V4, 1V4, so smart.
My goodness. So I ripped
good.
I ripped a bunch of gameplay yesterday. So if you're a video viewer, I'm gonna slap it on right now. Look at this. Bam. Oof. Oh, that's the wrong screen.
that's all the production screens.
That's the production
oh my God.
stuff. I didn't set this up beforehand, but now you guys can see the game.
I quite like this game. You know, so if you don't know, this is developed by Turtle Rock Studios, I think, who are the developers of Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 and Evolve. So I guess they were just like, well, Valve isn't keen on a Left 4 Dead 3, so let's just make Left 4 Dead 3 and call it something else, because that's genuinely what it feels like.
It's literally Left 4 Dead. Sorry, if off scene, I'm busy chasing Luna away because she's attacking a cable. I kept saying yesterday that it's just legitimately Left 4 Dead 3, which again, like, I don't want to say it's not a bad thing by any means. Like, I love Left 4 Dead, and Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 came out, I don't know, is it
ages ago now, eh? Yeah.
Ago? I'll look it up quickly.
I think Left 4 Dead 2 was like 2010.
Left 4 Dead, let's see. Left 4 Dead 1 was... let's just look Left 4 Dead 2.
Must have been 2008 or something like that. I remember I was still in school when it came out.
2009. Okay, so it's been 12 years since we played Left 4 Dead 2. And 12 years ago, Left 4 Dead 2 was a really good time. Like, I played a bunch. I played Left 4 Dead 1 a lot with my friends. And then Left 4 Dead 2, we all just, moved over. It came out a year later, so it's kind of weird.
That's wild to me, because it doesn't, I mean, I recall that time and it doesn't feel like that.
It came out like almost to the day a year later. And yeah, we played a lot of that. So having a modern day version of Left 4 Dead is, when I say it's Left 4 Dead 3, I'm not saying like, oh, it's just a copy paste. It feels good to have a modern day Left 4 Dead with, I think there've been some interesting adjustments, which I think on full release will keep the game interesting and fresh. Because even Left 4 Dead 2 at the time is the thing of you've really got like a limited pool of weapons, and whenever you get to a cache, like, oh, I'm gonna use the AK or I'm gonna use the sniper, and that's that, right? So you use that for the rest of the run. This game, there's a lot more variety of weapons, and you can slap on attachments, and in between all of that you have a perk / card system, which I suppose we'll dive into in more detail shortly. But even just that, it's like it's got modern day things which I'm really enjoying so far.
It's got the color coded loot,
Exactly.
It's got the green, blue, and purples, and all your attachments are color coded as well. And we were when we were playing it felt natural to be like, okay, this gun's got better stats, I'm going to pick that up.
Yeah.
And eventually I think I asked, I said, do you think it's actually making a difference? And I think John Markle said that he still had a white weapon, and it was doing like no damage.
To
even just the normal grunts. So it clearly was scaling with us quite nicely, which was cool. I mean, we were playing on the easiest difficulty, which I think it felt very forgiving. We didn't really have to think, but it was still fun. Like, we still got into some hairy situations.
I think particularly in the later levels of the chapter. I mean, because like it was really a breeze. The first few rounds, we were just breezing our way through. But I do think the one level up from that will be the right balance of, this is hard enough, that we can't just YOLO our way through, but still very enjoyable. It's when you
definitely.
get to,
I've been watching people playing on that veteran, and it looks like a big step up in terms of like you actually have to plan.
On screen, this is where you were dying.
Oh, and you saved me. I was like, I can't move, because when you get hit by them zombies, you get slowed down. So I was just like, well, I'm gonna die here because we're being placed explosives on this boat. Yeah, it's good. I think what I like the most about it is just the gun feel is really
The
good.
guns feel
I
fantastic.
I'm
Yeah.
confused because I've seen people on social media saying they don't like how the guns feel, and I think it's like probably the
I
strongest
really
element of the
like them.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pistols especially feel really good to pop off like headshots
Yeah.
and stuff, and the assault rifles feel weighty and
Mm,
that they're cartoony in a way. But I think it's got a good gun feel, which
yeah.
is really really paramount when all you're doing is like shooting tons and tons of enemies all the
Exactly.
time. So
Yeah.
yeah, the card system. Do you understand how it works?
So, I mean, we will obviously have to dive into this more when, the game actually releases. But my understanding is you put together a deck of cards. Um,
Hmm.
and between each round, well, when you get to a safe house, you have some downtime to choose a card from your deck to, give you a buff or something. So, for
Mhm.
example, the starter deck they gave all of us was you can choose to have 10% more stamina. You could have 10% more ammo. You could have a little bit more health. Um, and I think you weren't sure that if you choose one, I think you assumed it was done. Like I've chosen this, I
Yeah,
can't
I
use it
thought it
again.
was like these are what, or like I thought, okay, my whole deck is applied as soon as I start the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think you apply them between each round, and they do stack. If I'm not mistaken, I think Brad was saying he kept taking like the 10% ammo, so he was getting these
Mm.
big clips on his weapons. I
So
mean, I
my
think
understanding
it
then
works
is
like
like
that.
when you select a card, it isn't removed from your deck.
I think it just stays
Um,
there, which
it
doesn't make
stays
sense
there.
to me
Yeah.
there. Like
Yeah.
we were saying, why would you make a big deck of cards then? Like
Yeah, exactly. Because I
why not
think your
just put
decks can be up to like 30 cards. So why would you do that?
why not just have 5 cards and then you just stack your favorite card,
Yeah.
whatever.
And then you know exactly like because you're dealt like 5 cards per round to choose from. So you know exactly what you're going to be dealt every single round.
Yeah.
And
Unless
then if you can stack them, then
yeah,
yeah.
unless they're experimenting with that, because it would make sense, right? If it was a deck of cards and you build something and then, every time you choose a card, it's taken from the deck. But even
Mm.
30 feels like too much if there's 8
Yeah, it feels
rounds.
way too much. Yeah.
Unless
Way too
the
much.
idea is you can build a deck across the entire campaign, which seems too long.
Mhm.
Because I mean, we played the first act, and so Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, each act, I mean, each, what do I call it, like a level or a chapter?
Well, the whole thing
Uh,
was act one, and then there were like
okay,
8 chapters
that's
within
it. Okay, so
act one. Yeah.
so in Left 4 Dead, each act had 4 levels within them, sometimes
Mm.
5, depending. The Back 4 Blood beta had 8 in the first
Yeah,
act.
it was 8. It
Which,
was
look, I had a
crazy.
good time. It took us about an hour and 20
No,
minutes,
it
I'd
took us
say.
like 2 hours.
Was it 2?
We played for a long time. Yeah.
Good Lord, because that is 2 hours. I mean, and that was
Yeah.
good fun. But now if this card system's expecting you to build your character over, the entire game, which maybe I'm
Mm.
looking into it too much. That just seems too long, though.
Yeah, that seems way. I mean, I thought I was happy that there was a lot for us to play, but I thought this act one was what was weird was that it felt segmented. So it was like 4 chapters, and then you had like a sort of like a boss encounter
Mm,
where I mean we saw it on the footage here where we blew up that ship,
yeah,
and then the act continues, but it's like you're restarting at a completely different place with so it almost feels like it should be act 2, but it's still defined as act 1. So I'm not entirely
exactly.
sure
Yeah,
why it's done like that. And I think especially on maybe the higher difficulties, you only have 3 continues throughout the entire act.
yeah.
So like if you've played 7 chapters and then you die all 3
Oh
on the
my
last
goodness.
8th chapter, that's
I'll
a
die.
lot of time you've just like
Yeah,
thrown down the drain. So yeah, I mean they say this is a beta, but this is more one of those marketing betas. So I don't know how much they will change structurally
yeah.
between now and October when it releases. But
I mean,
I mean,
it's 2
the
months. I
survey
mean,
at the end was extensive. They are seriously
they're
taking
looking at the
back a lot of
feedback. Yeah,
feedback. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
I thought it was quite interesting. They asked, for example, how confusing did you find the experience? Which is
mm,
very applicable to someone who's never played Left 4 Dead, for example. You
yeah,
might be like,
absolutely.
holy shit, like what am I meant to do? What are these special infected? What do all these items do?
Mhm.
Um, Yeah.
I mean, on top of that, there's no real tutorials. So like the card system, we played for 2 hours and we were still like, do you think it works like this? Do you think it works like that? Actually, we're like figuring it out as we go. So yeah, there's still elements to it that I'm not entirely like certain about. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we spent 2 hours just shooting zombies and talking shit on Discord, and that was fun. Yeah, I had a great time with that, and I felt engaged the entire way through. Like we said, there were instances where we actually really be like, okay, we have to focus here. You know, this is what we're gonna do. Yeah, I had a good time with it. I think it looks good as well. You were saying it's got a style to it. Yeah.
It's not maybe as noticeable in game now, but when you're in the camp / the main menu, whatever you call it, like the lobby,
the hub world or whatever.
Yeah, there's something about that camp that it really, and I'm glad Brad also like sort of felt it. To me, it's weird because it doesn't at all look like Borderlands. But there's elements of it that remind me of Borderlands, and I don't know if it's the way, maybe the lines are thicker. Like I don't know. There's something about it that makes it look cartoony. But like when I say cartoony, it's weird because it doesn't at all look like Borderlands. But there's something about it that just reminds me of that.
It's definitely more stylized.
Yeah,
like it almost reminds me of a more like high definition Far Cry 3, because Far Cry 3 had also this like stylized look to it before they went a bit deeper into like realism. So it threads the needle through that line. I think it looks great.
It looks really good, and it runs perfectly. So
yeah, I was having great performance on it. I mean, the only real issues I had, which only really occurred before you joined the lobby, where I disconnected from a match twice. Yeah,
I had it as well, where there were times when I just hung. Oh my god, that's where thing jumps out of the wall.
These things that jump from the fucking wall. Oh my god, they're like jump scares in the middle of this fast-paced shooter.
That's great.
My god.
I had times where I disconnected, like you guys were just standing still on my screen, but then after 30 seconds, it kept me in the game. Thankfully, like I didn't get kicked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely some work to be done with the netcode.
Yeah, because it's kind of shitty. I mean,
this is our internet. I don't know.
I understand why they do it, but I also don't like the fact that like I got disconnected and booted back to the main menu, and then it's like, do you want to reconnect? And I'm like, yes. And then as soon as I reconnect, it's like, well, you got to wait for them to get to the end of the chapter.
Oh, the safe house, yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, that's so stupid.
That's kind of weird though, because even Left 4 Dead, like one of the to me, one of the most groundbreaking features of Left 4 Dead back then was like you could just join whenever. Like, or even not only that,
match going, yeah.
You could be in a game and you could say like, I'm going to take a break, and it would just let AI take over your character immediately, and you could just join back in whenever you're ready. Like that to me was wow. So it's weird that it doesn't have that level of
I don't understand.
Mid-game?
Yeah, exactly. It feels weird because a bot does take over me. Like, why can't I then just now I'm the bot?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't know if it's like a limitation of some competitive play aspect or whatever, but I think it's a bit garbage because like the act or the chapters are long. So if you disconnect and then you're like, well, now I'm just watching for the next 15 minutes, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but
and then on top of it, I disconnected twice. So like I reconnected, waited till they got to the safe house, and then the very next chapter I got disconnected again. I was like, ugh. I was like quite ready to be like, fuck this. And then you came on and luckily we had no more issues. So.
I was like, come back. I'm glad, there were no more issues after that. But I mean, these are things that maybe or hopefully they'll address. I mean, like you said, this beta feels more like a marketing thing where it's like, I find it so cheeky because it's like, you can pre-order the game, we'll give you beta access, like instant beta access, or you can watch an hour of Twitch and... you did that. You're like, okay, they gave me 3 codes.
Yeah, so on top of it. So I got a code and then I got 3 to give away. So it's definitely a marketing thing. It feels a lot like what Valorant did.
I mean, it gets people on Twitch, everything.
I mean, I think this was one of the highest played games on Twitch yesterday. So it's marketing and it's working. People are watching the game. Even if you aren't really watching that full hour,
it's still giving them the airtime, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but if you're listening to this, you think, oh man, this sounds like a good time. There is another beta coming up this weekend, which I don't know if it'll be the same content or if they're going to maybe test the verses out. But yeah, if you mildly interested, it's free to play, to try. It's
because the versus is not active right now, is it?
No, not that I'm aware of. I could be wrong. I maybe it is. I don't know.
I saw it in the menu, but I don't think. I think when I can't remember if it was Kat or Brad, but they tried to launch a game and it just like put them back in the hub.
Yes, I don't know. But it's an 18 gig download and it's worth trying. Like whether you're a fan of Left 4 Dead or not, it's a great time to play. Like I don't know how fun it is solo with AR, but with friends, it's definitely a good time.
Yeah, I played before I logged onto the Discord. I was playing with bots. Those bots are stupid. I
But of
didn't
course.
feel like they were doing like clever things at all. So
Yeah.
I definitely think. I mean, there's matchmaking, so you can play with randoms.
You can play with other people, yeah.
But I think that's definitely the way to play.
Yeah, and it's on just about every platform except Switch, I think.
Yeah. Steam and Epic. So yeah. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a game I'll play with a mouse and keyboard.
Oh yeah, 100%. And yeah, just in conclusion, I really enjoyed it, and I'm keen to see how the final game shapes up. I'm very keen for you to sink your teeth into Versus, because you said yesterday like you didn't enjoy Versus of Left 4 Dead 1, but
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like there was maybe a hardcore group or movement of players locally who played a lot of Versus, and yeah, I played a ton of it, and I'm very excited to see this game, with the competitive side to it. It becomes a thing of you learn the map so well, you learn how the infected work, and you set up ambushes, and it's a lot of fun when you pull it off. And likewise, as a survivor, things feel hectic. So when you survive, it feels good.
I think you were saying there was one map here which was like covered in fog, and you're like, I do not want to play this.
There are a lot of parts of this campaign we did where I'm like, oh god, this must be an absolute nightmare. Oh, look at that thing launch. Yeah, I enjoyed it though. I'm very keen to play. I mean, it's coming out in October.
Yeah, I think it's beginning of October, because it was meant to be end of August and then it got pushed a little bit. So yeah, it's soon. I'm genuinely keen to play more this weekend.